In the meantime, though, we just sent David off to the movies, and I tell you what is taking all before it. It is Jurassic World. It is on at the box office at the moment, and this is the continuation on the idea of dinosaurs coming back to life and being placed on an island for tourists to ogle a little bit of it.
On this trip, you're gonna have so much fun. And remember, if something chases you, run.
We have learned more in the past decade from genetics than a century of digging up bones. A whole new frontier has opened up. We have our first genetically modified hybrid.
We just went and made a new dinosaur? Probably not a good idea.
Ooh, it sounds pretty great, right? And sure, Steven Spielberg's going to make millions out of it. But what people are really taking issue with is the fact that the heroine runs from all these dinosauric beasts in high heels. I know. They're not worried about the plausibility of creating new dinosaurs, but they are very concerned about the fact that she's running away on high heels. And here to have a chat about it is Ted Ted, did I get your last name right? Not even close.
Not really. No.
Jedynak.
Well done.
There you go.
Beautiful.
Ted Jedynak, podiatrist from the Foot and Leg Centre. Thanks for coming in, Ted.
Thank you for having me.
Now, putting aside from the fact that, dinosaurs aren't probably going to come back to life, the whole walking in high heels is a pretty big issue, isn't it? And we've just seen the latest fashion problem with the skinny jeans thing. High heels, though, don't seem to be going away.
And they won't. They're an absolute fashion statement. They got designed originally because of the attractive effect that it has on one's posture, and they are definitely here to stay. And often a question I get asked is, high heels, what's your opinion? And mine is, they're good.
Really?
For business.
Ah,
yes,
for you, right.
Indeed.
Here I am thinking, what?
No, and they changes in the ankle, changes in the foot posture has immediate and dramatic effects right through the whole physical frame. That goes without question, and there's a lot of research that shows if you interfere with the mechanics of the ankle, not only does it affect the structure locally, but it will affect the whole chain going up to the knee, the hip, and right up to the top of the scon. So,
And obviously, standing there is that instantaneous effect that you're saying. But long-term effects, could you get away with wearing high heels once a week, only on a Friday night if you're going out to have a nice dinner or something?
Yeah. And that's exactly what I would encourage, because changing foot posture, changing the activities that we do with our body, the different forces in joints and muscles, that's actually very healthy. So wearing heels when you go out for an elegant evening, fantastic. Walking barefoot in the sand at the beach, fantastic as well. Research is very clear in that variety of activities is the important thing. When dangers and injuries take place, when we maintain a specific posture or a specific position for extended periods of time. City Bay Fun Run training is now started. Mm-hmm. So you're going to have all these weekend warriors running on hard surfaces in straight directions, and that's another thing that's just great for business. What they ought to do is change activities, change events, do cross-training, run up and down hills. Mm-hmm. Variety is really the key to helping the body adapt most effectively.
Okay, so as long as the heroine was running in her high heels up and down mountains and onto flat surfaces and keeping it, then that's completely okay.
It is a science fiction movie,
right?
Isn't it?
Okay,
Yes.
yeah, we'll go with that. Are there heels that are better for you, some better than others? And, forgiving the obvious ones, taller ones are worse for you than smaller ones.
Sure. It's, again, probably coming in variety and moderation. It's always the thing about health. If you do something in moderation, then whether that means the length of time or the height of heel, that certainly would be, I suppose, some diplomatic advice. But the fact is, inside the ankle, we've got a incredibly unique bone. Mm-hmm. It's called the talus. Its original Latin name, astragalus, actually means centre of the universe. So our pioneering forefathers realised that for postural and structural stability and harmony, that bone in the ankle is the number one bone that must be working efficiently.
Yeah, right.
And incredible that how many centuries ago that was determined.
Did they have, and this is not a facetious question, did they have heels there? Because they would have, the men used to.
The men started, and then high heels from a fashion perspective were designed by men for women.
Yeah,
That's
they knew it
historically-
back then, didn't they? They knew it.
Indeed. So, and this is where making sure that the other beautiful thing about the design of the body, beautiful for business again, is that the talus is the only bone in the body that doesn't have any muscles attached to it. So if it shifts or displaces, someone rolls an ankle or has an injury there, they end up with a displaced bone, and no amount of muscle strengthening will actually stabilize that joint effectively. What's got to happen is you've got to get the bone back into its right position first, then strengthen the muscles. And even today, this is one of the myths in a lot of physical therapy and rehabilitation is, get on a wobble board and strengthen the muscles and that'll make your ankles stronger. Yeah. Not if the bone's out of position. And this is something that very few practitioners are aware of. One, to diagnose, and two, to actually treat. So it's an important thing that a lot of practitioners now are starting to get a good understanding of.
Is there something, people who, look, I walk like a truck driver when I wear heels, so I don't really wear, I don't know any other way. I don't know any other way, and you're a tall gentleman like myself. I just can't get around it. But millions and millions of people do. Mm-hmm. Not all of them are having to go in, though, with foot problems. No,
and this is where some bodies can cope with those forces more effectively than others. And it's certainly been I suppose, a treatment theme or basis for us. The fact is, being married to a woman now for over 30 years, what woman is going to listen to what a man's going to tell her to do, even if it's something for, good for your health? And we all know that there are things that we should and shouldn't do, but we don't necessarily do. And wearing heels is just one of them. So my view is that women are going to wear what they want to wear because they want to, and they love wearing them. Fantastic. So can we increase their probability of health and stability, not disregarding the fact that they're going to do what they're wanting to do anyway? Some people are fortunate, genetically, or they have a predisposition that they don't all end up with symptoms. That's probably not the majority, and I'd say that'd be why a lot of podiatrists are in work, is because of self-inflicted injuries. And one, heels are going to be here the whole time, and women, and some men, but most women will still choose to wear them. And so how can we help them do the things that they want to do more effectively? I suppose that's my game as a practitioner. Well, how can you? I don't want to ruin the business people actually coming and paying you for this information, but if you could just give me all of your secrets, that would be great. Yes, and I've got to tell you, Ali, that's a lot of my work is educating health practitioners on, the diagnosis and the treatment of how we can improve the structural integrity, not only in the ankle, but other parts of the body that compensate. Because in sport, you tape it, or you wear shoes, or, like basketball, there was a thought that those high-top boots back in the 80s were actually helping, as well as being very cool like Michael Jordan. Indeed. But you can tape, fashionably, you can't necessarily do that. So how can you do that? Is it possible to get ahead of the curve and do exercises on those muscles before that bone? Yes. Yeah, that's very perceptive of you. Great point, and very astute, because if you can get in before an injury is done, then you are streets ahead for getting an excellent result. Human nature, though, is, if it doesn't hurt, then I won't bother doing it. It's like, we know we should clean our teeth all the time and every day, and but do we have that discipline? But you're right, that is the best thing to do. The majority of people don't do it. I recall towards the last season, particularly with Port Power, the number of their players that were rolling their ankles, and I just was the podiatrist who's there, who works for them. I was having a chat from, you're going to be in line for a lot of work here in rehabilitating that, because even their rehab practitioners were not up to speed on what this bone does and how it displaces and how things could be improved. So I've often thought that, I've worn footy boots occasionally. Don't look at me like that. I can't wear heels. I can wear footy boots. But I've often thought that with parents whacking little kids into these footy boots, quite often you send them out and the turf's not soft. And all of a sudden you've got children running around on turf or on ground or wherever it might be,
and it'd be more unstable, wouldn't
Yeah,
it?
so two things that are really important here. One is at the beginning of the season when our grounds here in Adelaide are really hard.
Yep.
That's a shocking it's almost a perfect storm, particularly with growing children and the growth plate in the heel. So we see a lot of that happening, March, April. It's a very common condition that we see. The second thing is when you look at a footy boot, just about every one of them has a flat sole. Every other shoe we have has a bit of a heel, and all of our tissues adapt to that. And I don't know why the footwear designers still do this, but the majority of them are completely flat. So sometimes something as simple as putting a little heel lift just to take that tension off the Achilles tendon at the back and the structure within the ankle can make a world of difference. But you're exactly right.
It's very cool, and every kid wants their own footy boot, and I get that. I completely get that. But, really, do they need it? No, it's not going to make them run faster or kick a ball further. But, I just wondered about the negative aspects of that. So that's really
it is, and again, it's that the desire of the child and the desire of the parents not to upset the child. But I want to wear those boots. And it's like, well,
and it's also cool buying them. Grandma might want to buy them, and it's her special boots. And,
Yes.
And I guess if they're too small, they'll be buying another lot next season because they'll grow out of them. We're talking to Ted Jedynak, podiatrist from the Foot and Leg Centre. How young is too young to wear heels? And I ask that because a lot of little girls do dance concerts and things and they're into them. And are you ever too old to wear heels?
Well, I might take the second part of that question first. As far as the top end of the age spectrum, it's really going to come down to can the body cope? Can the woman cope with wearing the heels? And we have in fact, just saw a lady yesterday who has been wearing heels for the last 40 years, and she's actually more comfortable in heels because of the way her body has adapted. She now curtails her activities so that she will do her shopping
But
up and down.
no running from dinos. No running from dinos, righto.
I reckon she'd be up for it. She was pretty energetic. As far as young kids go, though, again, if it's for limited periods of time, and if they're doing a dance class that's for 1 or 2 hours a week, it is a burden for the body. If they cope, great, but if they do it for extended periods of time, the body is incredible in its wisdom. It'll tell you if something's not right. And if you start to feel aches and niggles, and it's your body's way of saying, don't like it. So then you either respond to that or not, or you put up with it and hope it'll go away, or hope your condition. And that's... you can hope, but chances are it's unlikely to have a positive long-term effect for you.
You were speaking then about the obvious signs that something is wrong, the pain, maybe sciatica or, bunion, whatever they might be. Can your posture of your feet also perhaps have more subtle significance, i.e. if you're tired, or that might actually be... Oh, you're giving me the thumbs up.
Because
really?
That's a very, very insightful question. We have mechanical structure, and the muscles work to move the bones and joints in the right way. If there's an imbalance or a weakness, when we get tired, the body kind of sags and says, this is just too much hard work. And then you're more prone to injury or susceptible to things going awry and causing a problem. So there was a first part of your question, though.
I was just saying you've got the obvious symptoms, but these are...
Think of dentistry. We know that we should go to a dentist for a regular checkup because we can't always feel what's going on inside our jaw and our teeth. And by the time you can feel a cavity, a whole lot of things have to have happened to lead to that deterioration. So it's the same thing with the foot and leg structure. If you wait until some symptom shows up, there's a whole series of things that have to have happened before those symptoms occur, other than an acute injury. But if you're niggling signs, you're already well on the way of saying something's not right and the body's trying to talk to you. And if you don't listen to the body it'll start screaming at you, and then you'll really be in trouble from a symptomatic perspective.
Well, if you could give one bit of advice to somebody out there who's listening to this to lead them towards better health in this way, because let's face it, you very rarely can you get through your day without your feet.
Indeed, yep.
What would it be?
Yep. Okay, I've got two pieces of advice. One is going to be facetious because it makes a great T-shirt. That is, use your head, contact Ted. But I won't say that in public because that might be a bit self-serving. But the true thing is, if you're seeing a podiatrist, then get them to do what's known as a biomechanical assessment. If you think of feet like wheels on a car,
Yep.
it's like checking your wheel alignment. And every podiatrist is trained in being able to conduct a comprehensive biomechanical assessment. But if that's too big a word to remember, just say, ask them to get your wheel alignment checked. That really is the best thing. Then they can give you advice as to what to do. But let me give you another piece of recommendation from a home remedy perspective, what you can do at home without seeing a health professional. One of the great things is make sure you have a ball. Tennis ball is usually the best type of ball. First thing in the morning, often when people wake up and their joints are feeling a bit stiff and tired, rolling your foot over a tennis ball, just for a minute or so on each foot, starts waking up the juice in the joints and getting the muscles and the blood flowing. That can be really beneficial. If you've been on your feet for hours and then at the end of the day your feet are burning or killing you, doing the same type of thing but with an ice water bottle. Get a small water bottle, fill it with water and freeze it. And that way you get an anti-inflammatory effect as well as the massaging effect. So that can be really handy.
That is very cool. Well, there you've heard it here first from Ted, podiatrist from the Foot and Leg Centre. Do those things. Don't let the dinosaurs get you. And other than that, be very, very careful in heels. Am I right?
You got it.
Thanks for coming in.
Thanks, Ali.